all want to thrive in life and live the best life possible. How do we do this, and what are the secrets to thrive in life? Today, we are hearing from health coach April Pitcairn, who, at the young age of 69, is now beginning to peak and live her best life. She's sharing her tips and secrets for thriving in life, and how, at the age of 69, instead of slowing down and retiring like a lot of folks, she is just getting started. If you're ready to jumpstart your life and hit the Thrive button, this episode is for you. And you might want to listen to the very end to hear the most important tip of all. All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world, and another episode of the Be Well, Be Safe, Be Happy, Eat Ice Cream podcast. And I'm super stoked to have my friend and colleague back with us today, April. April, how are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so crazy. We were just talking off camera. You helped me start the Be Well, Be Safe, Be Happy, Eat Ice Cream podcast. You were one of my very first guests ever, episode number 6. And I should tell anybody listening, go back and check out episode number 6. April first appeared on that episode, and we talked all about being healthy and weight loss and all of that good stuff. But April, the reason I wanted to have you back today is because I still remember this. I was telling you this off camera that on that episode, we talked about one of the critical components of this whole overall healthy lifestyle and all this is understanding your why. And you brought up at that time that understanding your why, and for you, has to do with this idea of thriving, that you wanted to thrive in life. And we won't go full detail into your story again in your transformation. Again, anyone can go back to episode number 6 and hear more of April's story and her transformation story, which, by the way, I'll just point out, April, you started at 60 years of age, and you mentioned you're going to be how old this year?
Well, not this year.
This
Don't
year, okay.
too soon, but
Okay.
in April of next year, I'll be 70.
Okay. And you look incredible. So obviously what you're doing is working. You are a living, breathing example of the healthy lifestyle. But I wanted to get into this idea, what you said before, that my why has to do with I want to thrive in life. It's about thriving in life. And that word can have so many different definitions and interpretations. So I wanted to get you back on here and say, April, okay, take it away. What do you mean by thriving? What does it mean to thrive and to have a thriving life?
Thanks, Brett. Well, first of all, for me, what thriving is, is not looking at things as, oh, okay, my life's almost over. I'm just, going to deal with the cards that I've been dealt. To me, age is just a number. Now, yes, reality is that certain things do set in. I right now I'm dealing with a knee that has arthritis and that type of thing, but which is just a normal thing. But what I mean by that is I truly do believe that if we take care of ourselves, and I don't just mean taking care of ourselves nutritionally, but I mean in our minds and how we feed our minds, that type of thing, that we definitely can live a quality of life until we're 120. I totally believe in that. And so that is what I'm going to do by thriving is, it's really funny because when I had my 69th birthday this last April, I had several people say, "Oh, when are you going to retire?" And I'm like, retire from what?
What does that
Retire.
mean? Yeah.
I know. What does that mean? Retire, I mean, if I had a normal job like I used to have, then maybe so. Okay. But what I do, I just help people. That's all I do. So and I do it, I primarily do it on the phone. So but what I'm doing is I'm talking on the phone. Why do I need to retire from that? It doesn't matter. So the thing is, and the more that I help people, the more it fills my cup. So that is for thriving for me I am a huge proponent of self-care, huge. However, part of my self-care routine is having a mission to help other people. And that is, if any of you have ever looked into the Blue Zones by Dan Buettner, right? And you look at the people. So what he did with along with National Geographic, he did a study of the areas in the world where people live beyond 100, and then looked at what the characteristics were that kept.
The one thing that we all have in common is that we all want to live the best possible life. We all yearn to find our purpose in life, to live that life of passion and fulfillment, and rediscover who we really are. The truth is, most of us don't know how to do this, and we don't know how to get out of our own way. Our mindsets, fears, insecurities, and self-doubts prevents us from reaching our full potential. If you are someone who yearns to break through and rediscover your authentic self, find your purpose, and live that life of fulfillment, then join my new online community, Rediscover You. Rediscover You is helping people just like you explore their passions, find their purpose, rediscover their authentic self, and live their best life. Inside Rediscover You, you will learn the tools, skills, and strategies that I have implemented in my own life, as well as with many of the clients I have worked with, to help them rediscover their authentic self, find their purpose, and live their best life. From understanding your purpose to knowing who you are or what you want your life to be about, you will get it all inside Rediscover You. Join me inside the Rediscover You community. I'm really looking forward to seeing you inside there.
That keep them living that long. And one of the characteristics is people having a mission. So that for me is very important because that's helping me thrive also.
And your mission, you said again, is simply to help other people to thrive then.
Right. Is to absolutely help other people learn how to thrive, get into that wanting to thrive. Because, it's one thing to know the steps to thrive, but you have to want it. So if you don't, we have to want anything that we do, right? That which gets back to the why. It gets back to the why. Why do you want to thrive? Why do you want to? And for me, it was really when I put my mom in a independent living, over 5 years ago, something like that. I was just looking around at the people there that were it wasn't assisted living, it was an independent living, but their mobility was so limited. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to be that way when I get to be this age. So that's one of the things that really, really does help me with my why, because I think about that.
I do too, actually. I worked in senior wellness for years and I saw the exact same thing. And my why has evolved a little bit over the years. I do a lot of my training now, my healthy eating, my nutrition, my strength training, all of that, to be very just like you, April, to be functioning at the highest level possible for as long as possible in terms of balance and mobility and hand-eye coordination, foot-eye coordination, balance issues among our senior population, 70 plus years old, is a huge problem in this country. And so I do all of this to mitigate all of that stuff. I also want to point out very quickly, I'm a huge fan of yours, April, but for folks that are listening to this on audio version and can't see the video version right now, April, you like you just said, you're 69, approaching 70. You're not slowing. You're doing the complete opposite of retirement. You're not slowing down at all. Let me mention this about April. She is a world traveler, and literally every month on Facebook, I see she's going to Abu Dhabi or she's going to the Caribbean. Or April, you just mentioned you're getting ready to go to another retreat near Las Vegas, you said?
Yeah, I'm going at beginning of October. I'm going to, it's called Pirates Cove, and it's 30 minutes outside of Vegas. It's like built into the side of a mountain. It's like, it looks supposed to look like a pirate ship type thing. So it looks really fascinating. But the other thing that I did is I just booked a 17-day trip in March to South Africa.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's on
know,
my
I
travel
know.
list. Holy
Super
cow.
excited. One of the places I'm going to be going to Johannesburg, to like a safari and stuff, which years ago I went to Kenya and I went to the Masai Mara and did a safari there. But one of the things that I'm going to be doing, also going to Cape Town, but one of my bucket list things is going to Zimbabwe and going to Victoria Falls. So yeah, I'm
Oh,
looking
wow. I don't
very
have to hide out in your luggage on that trip. And let me point out too, to do all this world traveling, it takes strength, it takes energy, it takes stamina, it takes mobility. You gotta, even with wheels, you're still picking up your luggage, putting it on the conveyor belt, all of this stuff. And so it takes your lifestyle. And so let me back up just a second. You mentioned a moment ago about the steps to thrive, and you mentioned that one of the steps to thriving is this idea of having a mission statement that was touted in the Blue Zone. What are some of the other steps to thriving that you employ in your lifestyle or that other people can learn from?
Well, you know what? It is all the things. It's getting back to the self-care. Okay. So
Okay.
I do believe that the mission is probably the most important thing. I really do believe that. Okay. But other than that, I just mean self-care. It's the stuff that you're talking about.
Okay.
So it's, like your nutrition, your workout. I get a massage, if not once a month, twice a month.
Mm,
I do stretching. It's all those kinds of things that are very, very important to keep up because, even when I got the description of what the South Africa trip, they put at the top, it's an active trip.
yeah.
So that's important because a lot of people, that are going to go on a trip that's this long, they usually are maybe retired people and they're, usually a little bit older. So it's important for them to point out that this is an active trip. Like we're not just going and sitting on a bus and looking at sites. So knowing that, making sure that I'm in the right physical shape to do that kind of a trip is very important.
Yeah, you've got to have the mobility, the agility, the flexibility, going up and down stairs, carrying bags. Temperature wise, I mean, you're going to be in hotter temperatures probably down there. All of that things, though. So, in addition to the self care, something else you mentioned a second ago was this idea about feeding your mind. I love that because that's a mindset component. And I look at this now kind of similar to food. I always say food can be broken into two categories. Food can be medicine, if it's like natural, healthy, organic type stuff, or food can be poison if it's like the processed sugar, high preservative type stuff. I think our thinking, our thoughts can be the same. Our thoughts can nourish us and be medicine, or our thoughts can be poison for us. So, how over the years in your transformation were you able to, I guess, reprogram your mind?
The program that I health coach to, has a huge personal development component to it because it's not just about nutrition. And so once I started reading the books that come with my program, once I started looking at all the different things, emotional mismanagement is one of the leading problems that we have in our country today, well, throughout the world today, right? And just being guided towards how to get out of that emotional mismanagement was very, very important. So one of the first things that I was learning about is I learned the whole dynamic about the drama triangle, right? So staying out of the drama triangle, how you do that. But another important part was changing my mindset from scarcity to
To
abundance.
abundance, yeah.
So, right. And then all that, all has to do talk about positivity too, because positivity begets positivity, negativity begets negativity. And it does it, it's not as you don't just wake up one day after being a totally negative person and become a positive person. That's not going to happen. That would be great if that could happen. But it's,
Unfortunately, there's a long process in between the two.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? Words are important. Words are very important. Even the words we say to ourselves. So we need to be very careful about what we say. And there's a lot of ways that we can do this. So one of the things that I started doing in my journey is every day I journal. I journal gratitude. So I journal 3 things that I'm grateful for every morning. And then when I remember, in the evening, I journal 3 things that went well.
Mm,
Because what happens to a lot of us is that we end our day and we go to bed and we're thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I didn't get this done, all that kind of stuff. So there's been studies done that have shown that if the last thing you do before you go to bed is to journal 3 things that went well, not,
breathing.
oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, just what went well, you're more prone to have a good night's sleep. So sleep is another thing. I did not realize how important sleep was in my health journey. Sleep is a critical factor. If you go back and look at like war tactics, the number one thing that they did, you can go a lot of days without food or water, but you cannot go without sleep. So getting into good sleep patterns, that's another thing I teach people, is how to get into having healthy sleep. And it all starts with what do you do in the twilight hours? It's not just what you do in the morning, because if you had a bad twilight hour going to sleep, then you're not going to get up as early as you want to because you didn't do it that way. So you have to work backwards and to get a good night's sleep. So that's another thing that I really concentrated on.
And you are, April, you mentioned a personal development coach, kind of with a focus in the health coaching aspect. And before we were on camera, we were also talking about this idea. I'm over 50 now. You're obviously over 60, and this idea of losing muscle mass. It's called the technical term is sarcopenia. I've researched this a little bit, and even for me as a male, post 50 now, I'm in something called andropause, which is kind of the male version of menopause, where we lose muscle mass and we lose testosterone and things like that. But that is really important for thriving post 50 years old, is this idea of keeping our strength and muscle mass. What has been your experience with that, and can you tell us a little bit
So,
about
what I was doing in the past is just simply doing strength training, that type of thing, which is awesome. That's really important to do. One other thing I want to mention too is that, and you were kind of alluding to this, when people get to be 80 or over, the leading cause of death is the complication due to falls.
The one thing that we all have in common is that we all want to live the best possible life. We all yearn to find our purpose in life, to live that life of passion and fulfillment, and rediscover who we really are. The truth is, most of us don't know how to do this, and we don't know how to get out of our own way. Our mindsets, fears, insecurities, and self-doubts prevents us from reaching our full potential. If you are someone who yearns to break through and rediscover your authentic self, find your purpose, and live that life of fulfillment, then join my new online community, Rediscover You. Rediscover You is helping people just like you explore their passions, find their purpose, rediscover their authentic self, and live their best life. Inside Rediscover You, you will learn the tools, skills, and strategies that I have implemented in my own life, as well as with many of the clients I have worked with, to help them rediscover their authentic self, find their purpose, and live their best life. From understanding your purpose to knowing who you are or what you want your life to be about, you will get it all inside Rediscover You. Join me inside the Rediscover You community. I'm really looking forward to seeing you inside there.
And so falls happen a lot because of mobility and because of loss of muscle mass. So what happens is, once we hit the age of 30, we are losing 5 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade. So at my age, I've already lost 30 pounds of muscle. I've lost it.
That's a lot,
Okay.
too.
So what I'm promoting right now is the use of essential amino acids. And, a lot of people have never heard of those. The people that have heard about them are usually people that are really heavy duty workout people. But the company that I'm working with, they just developed a clean EAA, and meaning that no artificial sweeteners, colors, they're gluten-free, dairy-free. Oh my gosh, they're everything free, caffeine free, all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's
And
good.
we've developed it to have very high levels of an ingredient called leucine. And leucine is one of the things that helps promoting muscle synergy, muscle growth. So we're taking this, even if we don't work out at all, it's going to help in that area. Now, the people that do work out are taking it twice a day, but the people that aren't really working out much at all are taking it once a day to help with that type of thing, with the muscle growth. So I've just started doing that August 1st, and I'm already feeling a difference. I'm already absolutely feeling, a difference. And a lot of my clients, it just kind of depends on where they are in their health journey. Some people are working out very hard and finding that this is really helping with their muscle recovery, for one thing, because that's what it's designed to do in the first place. But it's also helping in lots of other areas. So that's just another tool that we have.
Yeah, that's something I think I might look into personally. And so again, kind of the theme and topic for today is this idea of thriving, and obviously thriving as long as we can into our 60s, 70s, 80s. An important aspect of that is maintaining muscle mass. You mentioned earlier that falls are one of the leading cause of death after 80 years old, or the complications resulting from the fall. We fall because we lose our muscle mass, and that affects our balance. Uh, so that's a lot of what I train for now: the agility, the coordination, and strength training, and keeping muscle mass. April, I know you have a Facebook page, or somebody wanted to reach out to you. Is that the best way to do it?
Yeah, that is the best way. And I'm public. So it's very easy to find me. It's April Pitcairn. It's Pitcairn. I am the only April Pitcairn on Facebook. So, so
That's
yeah,
nice.
it is. And so you can reach out to me, just send me, go through Messenger, send me a message. I go to the secret place in Messenger. For those of you that don't know, there is a secret place on Messenger.
Mhm.
If you're not friends with people on Messenger, you have to go to the secret place to see where those messages are. But I check that frequently.
I've learned that too, and there's actually a way you can keep your conversation like private or something. Just but anyway, yeah, I'll put your Facebook information in the show notes. April, how would you kind of summarize this whole idea then, as we begin to wrap up this episode here? How would you kind of summarize this whole idea of thriving? This is what it's all about. What would, like, one take home message, I guess? What would that be?
It gets back to what I did in episode 6. You really have to identify why you
Right.
want to thrive. You have to identify that. Or do you want to thrive because you have grandchildren that you want to see grow up and you want to be at their wedding?
Mhm.
Do you want to thrive because you don't want to be a burden to somebody else as we get older? Do you want to thrive because maybe you're 20 or 30 and you want to have the healthiest life possible? There's like a bazillion reasons why somebody wants to do you want to stay off medications?
That's
There
huge for
are
me.
diabetes. We live in an obesogenic society. Obesity is increasing. It's not going down. So do you want to be healthy? I mean, that's really the bottom line. To me, it's more about being healthy than it is the way I look.
Mhm.
That's just an added benefit. If you look better because you're, at a healthy weight, that's an added benefit. But the most important thing is being healthy. So identify your why, and everything else will come.
Yeah. And I love how you said being healthy, because that's what was the switch in my journey. When I focused on all of a sudden being healthy, everything else started to fall in place. And I would also add, just when it comes to your why for thriving, April, and my why, we almost have we've made it bigger than ourselves. It's one thing, why to, we want to thrive to be there for our grandchildren, their wedding, and all that. But you've made it, like you said in the beginning, your life's mission to serve and support other people on their journey. And I'm doing the exact same thing. And so we have this why that's bigger than ourselves. And that's what I wake up for every day. I love to do this podcast, my Rediscover You online community, all of that stuff. So gosh, April, it's been a pleasure again having you. I miss you. I hope our paths will cross again somewhere in the world. It'd be neat, like in South
Oh,
Africa
I'm
or
sure it
something.
will. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since we've actually physically been in the same room or whatever. But it's great to have you here, April. You just kind of gave a take-home message, but any last parting words you want to say before we go?
I really do. I really live to help people get healthy. I'm very passionate about it. So I really would welcome anybody reaching out. Would love to help anybody.
Yeah. And again, I'll just say too, for anyone listening, April, you are a shining example that life doesn't end at, quote unquote, the retirement age, whatever people say, 60 or 65. Your life really started to take off at 60, and you are, like I said, you're not slowing down, you're speeding up, and I'm watching you, I'm going, holy cow. All these trips all over the world, and like I said, the strength and energy. So no matter where you are in life, definitely April is a shining example that your past does not equal your future. uh, the health issues, diabetes, all that. Go back, listen to episode 6, and you'll hear more of April's story on all of that. But April, thank you very much again for being here. I've learned a lot from this. I always learn a lot from talking to folks. Anyone listening, if you've enjoyed this episode, do me a solid and share it as far and wide. And April's contact information on Facebook, I'll put that out there. The more people that both April and I can help to be healthy, can help to get healthy, can help to thrive, the better this world is going to be. I just read this crazy statistic, April. I think it was the obesity pandemic in this country, just the United States, is costing our healthcare system upwards of $300 billion per year. I think that was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's just crazy. And you and I are out of the healthcare system. We're not on pills. We're not on a walker or a crutcher. Now you've got your arthritic knee you mentioned, which is a very natural thing. But that's still better than 20 different medications like some of the clients I've worked with in the past. But anyway, yeah, share this episode, hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave me that 5-star review. And until next time, everyone, be well, be safe, be happy, eat ice cream. Take care. We'll see you next time.